Shady corners of the garden are often ignored, left bare, or just covered with mulch because, well, a lot of gardeners assume vegetables won't grow without full sun. But the truth is, certain crops actually prefer lower light, cooler soil, and partial shade. Instead of wasting that valuable space, you can turn it into a productive patch by choosing plants adapted to filtered light or only a few hours of direct sun. Understanding how to work with shade gives you an advantage, especially if you live in a hot climate where full sun can really scorch those tender leaves. Leafy greens are the first crops to thrive in shade. When the sun beats down in summer, lettuce, spinach, and arugula often bolt quickly, turning bitter before you get a decent harvest. In a shady spot though, these greens grow slowly, stay tender, and produce longer into the season. A good approach is to seed lettuce mixes densely, about half an inch apart in shallow rows, then thin them gradually for salads. Spinach will hold well in a shaded bed with only 3 to 4 hours of light, and you can extend the harvest by clipping outer leaves rather than cutting whole plants. Arugula, which can turn sharp and tough in the heat, stays mild under filtered light. A shady bed planted with a mix of these greens gives you a constant harvest while freeing up your sunny areas for crops that really demand it. Brassicas respond well to cooler shaded soil. Cabbage, kale, and broccoli are known as cool season crops, but partial shade actually makes them easier to grow in warmer months. Kale especially adapts well. Varieties like lacinato or red Russian will tolerate 4 hours of direct sun or even bright dappled shade. Plant them about a foot apart and feed them with compost-rich soil to keep steady growth. Broccoli may not form large heads without full sun, but it will still produce side shoots and tender leaves that are highly nutritious. Cabbage develops more slowly in shade, which can be an advantage since it reduces splitting from rapid growth after rains. Planting brassicas in shady sections allows you to grow them outside their traditional cool season window and extend your harvest calendar. Root vegetables benefit from protection from harsh heat. Carrots, beets, and radishes are often thought of as sun lovers, but they don't actually require a full day of light. In fact, too much hot sun can make carrots woody and radishes bolt. In partial shade, their roots grow steadily with less stress from heat. Carrots will do well with about 4 to 5 hours of direct light, especially if the soil is deep and loose. A simple ratio to keep in mind is to mix 1 part coarse sand to 3 parts garden soil in a shaded bed to keep roots from becoming stunted. Beets also appreciate cooler conditions, and you'll get both roots and edible greens from one crop. Plant them in blocks, spacing seeds 2 inches apart, then thin by pulling every other seedling for tender greens while the rest continue to grow. Herbs can be reliable shade performers. Actually, many culinary herbs don't just tolerate shade, they often prefer it. For example, parsley grows lusher when protected from the hottest sun, and the leaves stay sweeter. Cilantro bolts rapidly in full sun, but it lasts longer in cooler, low-light conditions, which means you get a steady supply of fresh leaves. Mint, well, it practically thrives in shade, and putting it in a low-light corner helps keep its spreading growth contained. Chives will also do well with only a few hours of sun, so you can enjoy a constant harvest of onion-flavored shoots. When planting herbs in shade, be sure to enrich the soil with organic matter at about 1 part compost to 2 parts native soil. This gives steady nutrients without overstimulating growth that the lower light can't support. Fruiting crops are limited but possible in shade. Most fruiting plants like tomatoes and peppers demand full sun, but there are a few exceptions worth considering. Peas are one of the best, as they climb and produce pods even with partial light. Early varieties tend to set pods better in low-light conditions than longer season ones. Another option is bush beans, which can handle around 4 hours of sunlight and still give you a steady yield. You won't get the heavy production of a sunny patch, but these crops can still make shady corners productive rather than wasted. Moisture management is key in shaded gardens. One challenge with shaded areas is that they hold moisture longer since less sun reaches the soil. While this helps reduce watering needs, it also means you need to be careful about drainage. Mixing in coarse sand or shredded leaf mulch keeps the soil light and airy. Water less frequently than you do in sunny beds, and always check the top inch of soil before irrigating. Too much water in shade can lead to fungal problems, especially with leafy crops. By managing water carefully, you'll keep growth steady without encouraging disease. Shade can actually improve flavor and extend harvests. Many of the crops suited for shade not only tolerate it but actually perform better there. Lettuce stays sweeter, carrots develop less bitterness, and herbs like parsley hold their flavor longer. Instead of seeing shade as a limitation, treat it as an asset. If you plan your garden so that high-demand crops take the sunniest areas while shade-loving plants fill the rest, you'll maximize every square foot. Even small areas under trees along fences or beside buildings can turn into reliable food sources. Don't let shady areas go to waste. By choosing crops that naturally thrive in low light, you'll increase your harvests, enjoy better flavors, and extend your growing season. Every part of your garden has potential if you match the right crop to the right spot. If this guide helped you see your shady corners in a new way, make sure to subscribe to Hydro Haven and share this video with fellow gardeners who could use more harvests from less effort.